Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackson. I study lighting design in the College of Fine Arts School of Theater Design and Production Department, which I just realized is a mouthful. Because as a lighting design major, obviously I took a look into the use of light in theater, because that's what you do in there. What I really wanted to focus on was the idea of emotion and what the theater as a total visual environment can do to help affect the audience's emotional response to the piece that they're looking at. So I was very interested in finding an immersive visual environment that I could really play with visually. And an artist that I found inspirational in terms of this sort of imagery is an artist by the name of James Turrell, who works with who works with light in very immersive environments and really plays with the idea of perception and how you see the world around you. So I decided on a big white box that two performers would play in. And the play that I chose was a play called 448 Psychosis by the British playwright Sarah Kane that takes a very emotional look into clinical depression and what a depressed person thinks about and how they see the world around them and how they interact with everyone. So this big white box, I used light to dramatically alter and see what it could do to help an audience emotionally connect to the performance. And that was it.
Okay, so my name is Ayaka Shimizu. I'm a sociology major in the sociology department at Boston University. My topic was about gender influences on female athletes in a co-ed collegiate martial arts setting. And there are three basic gender theories that I based my hypothesis off of. One is called doing gender, which basically says that certain genders have to act a certain way, or they're expected to act a certain way because that's how society wants them to act. And an example of this is when girls are expected to play with dolls and girly toys like Barbies, and guys get all the good stuff like Legos and everything like that. And the second theory is what I call female athletes' perception by male athletes. And so a bunch of sociologists went into schools and they did interviews with school athletes, and they found that guy athletes really, really like girly girls. They don't really like the physical sport girls, and so that's what they found. The third theory is that female athletes, social relationships and social hierarchy. So again, sociologists, that's what they do. Like, they go into schools, they do interviews and observations, and they found that female athletes' social relationships, social hierarchies are basically determined by how attractive they are to other males. A good example of this is BU biddies. You see them on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Like, they're trotting down the street in Austin, and they're wearing really mini skirts in 10-degree weather. And you think it's so not worth it, but they do it anyway. So my question was basically, how do these things exist in a co-ed martial arts setting? And I chose to do my study in BU Taekwondo because I'm in the group, and it was easy for me to interact with the people there. And after 15 interviews, I found that female Taekwondoans in the club do not do gender, and they have a lot of self-confidence and self-respect. So if you're interested, please come see.
Hi, my name is Amy Gurel. I'm focusing my project on the Boston Marathon bombings. Tragedies often act as milestones for communities to reflect upon what makes them a community and how they could, and what the future holds for them. Since the bombings on April 15, 2013 at the Boston Marathon, the community of Boston has embraced Boston Strong not only as a slogan to put on their t-shirts, but also as a way to reflect upon what makes them unique as a city, how they can move forward from this tragedy, and what they can learn from this event. Media coverage throughout the past year has been primarily focused on things like breaking news, things about the victims, the perpetrators of the crime, and the heroes of that day. While this coverage was very valuable, I was more interested in the long-term implications that the bombing would have on the different communities that make up the fabric of Boston. As a journalism student, I saw this as an opportunity to report on and write about the different communities, the impact that the marathon had on different communities throughout Boston. So this project explores the lessons learned through the lens of different communities that were all impacted directly or indirectly by the tragedy. So through a series of feature stories, each of my articles is focused on a different community, from the charity runners to the volunteers who worked at the medical tents, to archivists who were in charge of documenting the healing process over the past year, and Muslims in Boston and the Chinese international student community who had to deal with losing one of their own in the bombing. While I found many similar themes throughout my interviewing and reporting, including an emphasis on the digital age and on providing mental health care, the one that stood out most to me was the way that everyone in the city focused on how they can heal and how they can grow instead of dwelling in the sorrow of the tragedy. While each community and person can cite lessons that they have learned from the bombing, the events of last year and the marathon this year really revealed something that was already embedded in the city and made overcoming this tragedy possible. A strong community of individuals who foster collaboration in order to bring out the best in each other. So if you want to check it out, the poster will be out there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connor. I'm a senior studying computer engineering. This is my awesome partner, Ravi, who's studying biomedical engineering. And we also had another group member, Vince, who's also a biomedical engineer, but not in the honors college. So our project is remote control of light stimulation for optogenetic methods. So basically our project dealt with the field of synthetic biology. And so this is the idea of kind of programming cells. You can replace the DNA, tell the cells to do something that you want to do. And so people have done a lot of really cool work in this field. One thing is a synthetic anti-malarial drug, and there's been a lot of other cool synthetic biology projects as well. However, and so there's also a new field within synthetic biology of optogenetics, which is basically just shining light on cells as a way of kind of flipping an on switch or telling the cells to do something. However, there's a problem. The science is pretty hard, so as many of you know, it's pretty difficult to research. A lot of researchers lack the tools to make it easy for them to continue this research.
So the simplest sense that we did for a project was we made a device that has LEDs and that can shine light on yeast cells in an incubator. We had a pretty broad skill set within our group, so we first looked at how we can turn genes on or off with light. From there, we built a circuit with LEDs and transistors that was controlled by an Arduino microcontroller, which had a Bluetooth module so we could control everything wirelessly. And then we programmed everything in MATLAB and Android, so we made a very simple graphical user interface where the people just have to change settings on these windows to control what's happening on the device without having to code anything. And finally, we packaged everything by 3D printing a mechanical casing that houses all the components together. So at the end, we brought about these different fields of engineering, brought them together and made a device that we tested in a biological setting successfully. So if you're interested in the results or want to play with the device, we have it out there. So come check out our poster.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ethan Shibutani, and I am a finance major in the School of Management. My Keystone project is the effect of social media on album success. So as a millennial, like many of my classmates, I'm very tapped into social media, and my motivation for this project was to find out if our involvement with social media affects businesses, and specifically album sales. So a while ago, critics' reviews were some of the only ways to measure whether an album was good or not before you listen to it. But in today's social media world, we're able to instantly review and connect with our peers, and I think that's a very interesting change that's occurring in this industry. So the way that I designed my project, I had measures of social media, which I got a great database that tracked Twitter followers, Twitter mentions, as well as Facebook fans. And I used these variables to see if they impacted the Billboard 200. So the Billboard 200 is a ranking of weekly sales for albums. So basically what I looked at was, do these variables impact whether an album is positioned higher or lower on the Billboard? So I look forward to talking more with you if you're interested at my poster. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel Lucas. I am a stage management major in the College of Fine Arts and the School of Theater in the Design and Production program. And so I made a play for my thesis project with a lot of help from KHC students and School of Theater students. Storytelling is my favorite part of theater, so I wanted to explore that more and also explore the audience's relationship to a certain play or story. So how I did that was I created the KHC Storytelling Project Cross the Bridge, which was a devised theatrical piece based around stories of many people in this room, which was a really great experience. We had a lot of fun making it, and we also made a lot of connections across the bridge or between different schools and BU. So come to my table for more info. Thank you.